Hello, everyone, and welcome to the final round front nine action from the 2020 Green Mountain Championship presented by Discraft. Stop 8 of 10 on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. We have Big Barry commentary, Jeremy Koling, joined by Paul Ulibarri.
Oh, thanks,
you get that in the fourth round. Now, that's your thing.
I appreciate that.
And we got Kevin Jones here in first place, a 6-shot advantage, averaging 10 down a round so far. He's going to have to contend against this man, Paul McBeth, the last round scariest person chasing you down. Obviously, Eagle McMahon is right there behind him at 6 shots back as well. And rounding out the lead card, no way. Oh my God, Calvin Heimburg just killing me.
Is he gonna wear those? I hope so. I really hope so.
I'm sorry. I was not expecting that. It caught me completely off guard. Hole one is par 4 where you're just trying to get one in bounds. From there, anywhere you land in bounds, you have a shot to the green. So the main thing is just keeping one in play off the tee shot, and your round is off to the races.
Greenwood, Arkansas. Our current leader, Kevin Jones.
Psychologically, Kevin, obviously, he has some room on the competitors, but that does not mean that he can play slow at all. He has to get some birdies early to give himself a little bit of breathing room.
Current Green Mountain champion, Paul McBeth.
Yeah, and really just no pressure on the rest of these competitors being that far behind. They can play free, play aggressive, and try to get those birdies. All the pressure is on Kevin Jones and Kevin Jones alone.
McBeth owns the course record here at Fox Run. I believe it's 15 under? Something just astronomical, just something silly.
Boulder, Colorado. Let's hear it for Eagle McMahon.
So obviously, he's going to be looking for something like that today if he wants to put any pressure on Kevin.
And that's really probably about a mark that you're going to have to get to for these guys in order to make a deep push at Kevin Jones. I feel like he's playing so good that he should be able to get around 6 to 7 pretty manageably.
Yeah, just playing safe. Eagles in the middle. It's a good drive.
Rounding out our lead group from Safety Harbor, Florida, Calvin Heimburg.
He's doing it. He's Stop it. Just stop it.
Is he going to park it?
Grounds tango. Beating as that eagle just comes into the ground probably 70 miles an hour. Not the height that Calvin was looking for, but all 4 players are in bounds. This will leave close to 300 feet with a low ceiling approach. Calvin have to go in with a little bit scarier straight line. That can skip out of bounds. Ooh, that's close. I think he is in bounds, though. Kevin also going straight at the pin with a little bit of flex, making a nice correction, and that's going to be a great way to start that round.
He's way back there, too, and he makes that flick up shot just seem effortless, and that's a good 320-foot low ceiling with a nice little flex, a little breeze. I mean, that's not that easy. He just makes it look easy. He's in control early. This just needs to miss the base of that tree, and it's home free. He does that.
And that was also incredibly easy. 2 mid-ranges there for Eagle McMahon, who will have a tap-in birdie on hole 1.
Paul's just been throwing ropes with this disc.
Yeah, that's going to be the farthest he's been from the pin on hole 1. In the 2 rounds that we've seen him play out here, So Calvin, the only player on the card with any distance left for the birdie putt. And he does not use the force this time.
Should have kept the glasses on.
He took the glasses off?
He did. That's what he gets.
I hope that's not a novelty. I hope that's an accessory and not just a short-term thing, because that was a special moment that I'd like to relive over and over again. So nice birdies for Kevin and Paul and Eagle, top 3 players in the field. Moving on to hole 2. 250-foot par 3. Just barely get a drive over this hillside and keep the nose up to avoid the low ceiling. Clear this rock with just a little bit of momentum and you should be working your way into circle 1. There is out of bounds behind the pin, which you don't see come into play too often. Just hit that gap with your straightest, most trustworthy disc. And that'll most likely be a PA3 for Kevin Jones.
Definitely a PA3.
And Paul going straight at it, and this actually is in danger and does go out of bounds. Gotta wonder if McBeth has given that a little bit extra juice to try to give himself a early highlight and maybe put a little bit of pressure with a hole-in-one on hole 2.
I couldn't imagine him doing that, especially with this one having so much danger behind.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's definitely other ones that he could give it a go at, but you could be right.
I mean, if he sees that, he might just sense the fact that with Kevin Jones already parked there, he's already showing that he's in the zone, the way that he's played so far in this event.
Do people have that capability of just being like, well, I guess I'll just ace this one?
McBeth does, absolutely. I mean, I think that he is one of the best in the game at ace runs when he wants to. And this has got to get lucky. Yeah, that's going to hit the same tree Eagle hit.
Then why wouldn't he just do that every hole for fun?
Well, I mean, look, he's got a 35-foot comeback putt for par. So that's why. You don't always want that. You want birdies. And Kevin Jones is going to be the only player on this card with a birdie, and so he's going to take that 6-stroke advantage and move it to 7. Calvin giving it a good effort from about 65 to 70 feet. And a nice par save putt from Paul, just inside the circle. And that's got to be a nice feeling there for Kevin Jones, as he's widened the margin just by 1 extra stroke after 2 holes, and 6 with 18 is kind of scary. 7 with only 16 holes, that's
terrifying.
It's even scarier. That's like Freddy Krueger level scary. On to hole 3, par 3, 300 feet. Low ceiling backhand tunnel is going to be the gap that you're going to see most of these players going for. Probably thrown with mid-range. Maybe a putter for McBeth or Kevin Jones. We see them go with putters quite often, but anything faster than that is in danger of going long down that hill. Kevin is indeed going with a putter. He's really using all the height on this fairway, and he's connected with an early tree. But inbounds. Looks like McBeth is going with a buzz.
And he's got it turned over. Perfect height. This just needs to settle. Looks perfect.
That's a great tee shot. Be a very fast putt from 29 feet for Paul McBeth.
You mean it's going to be fast, like it's going to go in the basket really fast?
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what I meant, Paul.
Really fast putt.
And Eagle sliding that up there all the way. That is such perfect nose angle control. As you can see at the tail end of this flight, just catching the back edge of the disc on the grass, and there's just nothing that can slow it down until those roots right there by the basket.
So difficult to get that angle right, to just kind of slide it up there nice and soft.
So Eagle and Paul are looking like they might be able to get that shot back that they just lost on hole 2. Calvin, this is going to need some ground play work, as that's going to be a really scary putt.
Probably going to be a little slower than Paul's, but on a faster green.
On a faster green, a little bit slower. See if Calvin can get his round started here with a magical effort from 49 feet. Good flag stick there, stopping Calvin's high putt from going too much farther past the pin.
Looks like that tree might be in Paul's way. He's going to have to straddle. It'll make it just that much more difficult.
Picking up that right foot to kind of lean that one in just a little bit more body English. Paul's so good inside the circle with awkward putts that he's got to just stand at an awkward way, and he wills in so many putts from that distance just with his ability to control the angle. So Kevin just losing one there with a par, and Eagle and Paul McBeth able to pick up the birdies on hole 3. 3 players in this card are off to a great start at 2 under par through 3 holes. Moving on to hole 4, par 4, 630 feet. The play is to get a backhand driver right over that bush that the drone just flew over, and then just finishing left of this bush, leaving the player with an open 250-foot approach to the pin that is just barely elevated by this rock green. There's OB around the pin. You see that come into play sometimes the wind picks up.
Yeah, and shout out to Mower Guy, who just did a fantastic job of making that just look like a bullseye.
You're not going to believe this, but the guy's name is John Mower. I made that up.
Here's McBeth going for the ace, according to Jeremy Koling. Uncanny ability.
He actually might be going for the 2. On this approach,
Absolutely.
you really can run it with a high
Absolutely.
spike sidearm. Give it a great run coming into this hole.
That would be fun to see somebody go for the green.
That is so good, and anything past that bush is pushing 400 feet. Eagle looked like he might have even fallen asleep while throwing that shot. It was so simple.
It looked like a little upshot for sure.
Kevin loving that M2. He has been throwing that so well all weekend, just picking spots. It's going to be somewhat obstructed to the pin, I believe. I mean, nothing's going to be in the way for the hyzer sidearm, but he's not going to be able to see the pin most likely. That is a fairway driver for Calvin. It's either the Draco or the Eagle. I think that's the Draco.
And today, I think the first round or the second round we played Fox Run, it was a bit windier than this day in particular. So
yeah, the conditions much more favorable for scoring. But
Added
pressure the last round. Yeah, Kevin knowing that comes was coming in a bit hot, but that was flashing the chains there. Right height to even go in, but that shouldn't be too much difficulty left for Kevin's birdie.
McBeth gonna take a read off of Kevin's, maybe put it out a bit wider.
Oh,
a little
get
inside.
down.
Yeah, he needs that to get down. Throwing his Z Raptor there to circle's edge.
Yep. Leaving a bit to be
Mistake you
desired
make
there
every
with
time
that.
with that disc.
Calvin going with his trusty clear champion Rhino, and why not onto the rock green, and that'll be a tap-in birdie.
That takes a lot of touch. Just playing catch with a buddy.
Yeah, such a great thing to visualize when you have these little approaches. Just pretend that it's the person you've played catch with all those years and replace the basket with that body and just throw right to it. Throw to your buddy's feet. That's what you want. All right, good putt.
Buckets. A little headwind here for Kevin.
Yeah, these putts have been some of the putts that in the past that we've seen Kevin have the most trouble with. It's just a awkward distance for him. I mean, obviously when he's really in rhythm, he doesn't miss those. And I fully expected him to make that, but it just, for some reason, you can kind of tell by the body English.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of an awkward putt, like kind of downhill into a headwind. It just didn't feel right for some reason. Anyways, on to hole 5, par 3, 475 feet. This is a very scary hole where a double bogey can creep up in a heartbeat. So this is one that obviously getting in bounds is so important, especially if you're in. Kevin Jones.
Nice yell, Jerry.
I don't know what Paul's talking
All right,
about.
I think we're good.
But if you're in Kevin's shoes right here, just getting one in bounds is so important.
I think he was making sure the camera crew was in position. Just McBeth being nice and courteous.
Getting that nice, somewhat bird's
Pass
eye
it, come
view
on.
of this shot. And Paul does squeeze past that initial bunker.
That is going to be a tough putt and a decision that I feel like he's going to have to make. That's a dangerous putt as well. I believe, what was that, about circles at? No, maybe even further.
Oh, no, he's every bit of 65, 70 feet, I think.
Right.
He's down near that bridge. And
You got to go for it.
oh,
though.
you have to go
Yeah.
for it, for sure. Eagles most likely going to be going that high spike hyzer play, which that opportunity was not afforded to us in round 1 with the big right to left wind. But with the wind down, Eagle misjudging the distance just barely, coming up maybe 45 feet short.
Yeah, and you're right. Green light to all these guys in any position, really any distance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's really, the only time you might want to lay up is when the wind picks up going into 7 or 8 and 9, and you really can't lay up on 9.
Or if you're playing basketball.
Layups are for basketball, that's right.
This looks nice.
Yeah, and that's lower, more driven, getting a nice roll off the hillside. Calvin's showing the card how it's done on 5. That was a beautiful tee shot.
I don't know. That's going to be a tough putt as well with Calvin coming up the hill, even though it's only 20 feet. That wind kind of coming off that little pond there.
You might want to put back on those putting goggles.
Oh no, this and here, you know,
Yeah,
we
this
have
is-
the shaky putt on the last hole, and this was an absolute shank. He's going to be OB right off the tee, and that is not an easy up and down for bogey.
And exactly, that's how 5 creeps up on this hole, because when you go out of bounds early, it's a blind approach to that hillside, and just anything can happen. If the putt, or if his approach lifts and goes in the water.
This is a lot of trust with that putter right there. Oh my, that is so difficult, and you just can't draw that up any better. I can't even commentate on how tough that upshot is with a putter.
Yeah,
I was in the same spot, and I threw my most overstable fairway driver from there.
And we have McBeth from right at the edge of circle 2, 66 feet.
Sit.
Opportunity.
Sit.
It's not as bad as it could have been. Or is that that's about as bad as it could be, I guess.
Yeah, at that speed, that was coming in at
Yeah.
0.1 miles an hour and ended up 25 feet away.
No, Eagle needs it. Not going to get it.
This is just the toughest green to putt on the course. I mean, the danger is there a little bit if you're on the high side putting down. Rolling down is scary. Obviously, if you're down here, it's scary. If it lifts, it could be in the pond. But just the wind is always moving, even on a calm day. Just you're so exposed out here on this green. And that's more like 30 feet, and McBeth is just canning these circle's edge putts right now. And that's a really scary thing for the card.
It is, but he needs to be making those for birdie. Kevin still has a sizable lead with holes running out. Birdies are going to catch Kevin, not pars.
Well, it's only going to be 5 after this hole, and that's if Kevin makes this putt. I mean, it's only going to be 4. Excuse me. So even with gaining that early stroke, Kevin has now lost 2 shots to both Eagle and McBeth through 5 holes. Looking really comfortable early on, and now things are getting a little bit more interesting. We're through 5 holes. Let's go to you for a hole breakdown.
Hole 6 is a 290-foot par 3. This hole will undoubtedly play as one of the easiest holes on the course. With that comes a different kind of pressure, so you'll see a lot of silly mistakes. Calm the nerves and throw a stock shot into this tight green, and you'll find an easy birdie on a course where easy birdies are hard to find. Let's see how it plays out.
An enthralling hole breakdown from Paul Ulibarri. Thank you so much for that one on the easiest hole on the Disc Golf Pro Tour.
Let's see if one of these guys can... Oh, that's just perfect.
That's so nice from Calvin, a player who has a great forehand and still likes to go with the backhand turnover for good reason.
This looks perfect as well.
And that'll be a little bit, something about being 25 feet on this hole feels longer than a more difficult hole. Because
Different, kind of like a different kind of pressure.
It is a different kind of pressure. To your point, there is something about playing a hole where you absolutely have to take a birdie, otherwise it feels like a bogey, that makes those putts that you really have to make just a little bit scarier.
Did you get this hole every time?
I did, Paul, for my entire career, yes.
Yeah, me as well.
If this hole were flipped, though, if this was a mirror of this hole, I'd probably birdie it 1 out of every 3 times. So who knows?
These are some good shots into the green. Everybody with
That
the
was an awkward clap.
green in
I wonder if it
regulation.
rolled a bit. They're second guessing it.
The spotter not quite sure if they should clap or not. Oh, clap, clap, clap. And, of course, Paul McBeth makes the putt.
Too easy.
And this is a rare thing to see anytime we play on tour, a hole averaging more than 0.6 below par, 2.39 average. It's really about as low as you're going to see. 70% of the field able to pick up the birdie. That's 62 players out of the 88 player count. I did see something really crazy first round, though, that there's that wall that's out of bounds on the right, and Austin Hannum threw a sidearm that went all the way to the wall, hit the wall, and stood up vertical. So it was sitting on the line because they painted a line at the bottom of the wall. That was so he was out of bounds, 25 feet from the pin. It was pretty inexplicable.
I feel like that would be considered a silly mistake.
Sure. And we are on to hole 7. The signature hole on this course, and one of the signature holes really in disc golf, and especially on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. The par 5, 1,230 feet out of bounds, left side and right side the whole way. Players have to make that decision off the tee. Are they going to try to clear the ditch in one or play the safe shot short? When the wind is up, almost always you see the players play the short shot. But on a day like this, where you have to make a move, these guys might be getting aggressive.
Surprising to see Calvin lay up, but he's always winning tournaments and doing good stuff, so not surprising at the same time.
Sure. I do question, obviously every round I feel like we question one of the decisions that's made by one of the players at some point, but then, these guys are on the lead card and we're commentating on them, so we really don't have much room to stand.
I didn't see anybody go for it on my cards.
Yeah, I didn't either. Besides me, I didn't see anyone else go for it. And here's McBeth, and this is the danger.
It's overstable. Please give me a break. My goodness, dude.
Just the wrong time for your disc to let you down.
The wind that we're feeling right now is a head left to right. And what an absolute weapon to battle that left to right wind. Eagle McMahon forehand.
And I believe this is exactly what you call a hyzer flex.
We've seen 2 rounds straight. Eagle going hyzer flex, and everybody just able to do something that no one else in the field is able to do. Just go a high spike hyzer sidearm over 400 feet, clearing the ditch in perfect position.
I believe Kevin's going over here. Let's see if he can hug that right side, get it up. That's not going to do good stuff.
Is going to be out of bounds.
You guys good with this spot right here?
And this
take it
is
back
the time
just a
where,
little.
we can question one of those mistakes. Just not the time for Kevin to...
Yeah.
There's no need for him to go over there.
Well, still in the front 9, I would imagine that Kevin's game plan is to not change anything up, because obviously what he's done so far is gotten to the point where he has that comfortable cushion. If he continues to do his game plan for enough holes, then on the back 9 he can change things up if he still has that lead.
This needs to hold. It's holding. This will be good.
And that good recovery shot from McBeth. He is going to be in position to really get aggressive and try to save that par, but he's going to be every bit of 480 to 500 feet away from the pin still.
This needs to get down, but...
Away from Calvin,
no.
That's going to be out of bounds.
Kevin needs to put a Band-Aid on it and throw this one nice and straight. Oh, no. Okay, no harm, no foul. Inbounds.
Really the best you can do from there is a bogey. If he can keep it inbounds for the next 2 shots and make his putt, I'm sure he'll be happy to walk away with just a single on hole 7.
Uh-oh. This ain't coming back.
Wow. So close. Just going to be out of bounds, maybe 100 feet in front of his lie.
And now you can see maybe what flipped his disc. At different times, we got higher gusts that were kind of catching the disc and flipping them. It was really tough to... Wow, what a shot from Kevin.
And that's going to stay inbounds on the right side, and that'll most likely set up another forehand hyzer approach to the pin.
Just a lot of mistakes from the lead card so far. Everybody now has gone OB at least once. That's why this is the hardest hole in the course.
Just such a flip in such a short distance, going from the easiest hole on tour to one of the hardest holes on tour. Put Northwood's Gold at Ledgestone up there as the hardest hole in disc golf history, and this is probably in the top 5.
This one needs to go. Maybe he was just laying that one up, conceding the bogey, just getting out of there, especially with seeing everybody else doing the same thing, making the same mistake. No need to get crazy aggressive. But Paul McBeth has a chance here to grab a stroke on the whole card if he can somehow get this one up and down.
Yeah, he's in that position where you can't really play safe and just take the bogey. You really have to play aggressive and go for it. And this is looking really nice. This just needs to stay up. So, yeah, he'll have a 37-foot look for the par. That was a great effort from back there.
Sit. Nope.
And
that one
that
goes
has
OB,
gone out of bounds. So Kevin actually going with the putter backhand. It was actually quite a bit farther up the fairway than I had thought. And Calvin doing the same thing with his Rhino, and that'll be a tap in for the bogey. So McBeth a chance here to grab back one more stroke off of Kevin's lead.
And have a nice little cushion after Eagle goes deep out of bounds. If he can make this stay up, that's not up. And he knows it. He feels it.
Those today.
He feels it slip
Careful.
away there.
Every other day, miss those. Not right now, man.
Paul knows the importance of every single throw, every single putt. It has to be perfect today. And just a rare double bogey blemish from Eagle after that perfect drive across the ditch. Kevin needing this putt for the bogey. That is a good bogey save. It can really become disastrous with an out-of-bounds tee shot, but taking his medicine, getting it in the fairway for the next 3 good shots, and
yeah, and it's something to note that Kevin usually has a really upbeat, hyper kind of mood, and you can tell he's feeling the pressure. He definitely doesn't have that kind of mood right now. More focused, more, business oriented. It seems like, which he should be. I mean, honestly,
McBeth can sometimes be fun to play with because he'll talk to you, but Eagle doesn't really chat that much on the card. Calvin is very quiet, very businesslike. I mean, they've got sense of humors, but this is all business. This is the last round. This is playing for the championship, and Kevin Jones, obviously, he's able to be serious and buckle down as well, but that mentality certainly, the difference between this card and earlier cards, like the day before when they were vibing, is completely different. Hole 8. A tough hole to follow up, the difficult hole 7. Uphill the whole way, backhand turnover drive. This is overturned perhaps, that needs the move. and does get a little bit of cut roll safe into a good spot.
Yeah, I feel like the one mistake is not turning it enough and getting that flex out to that left side kind of comes up real quick. You see a lot of people sometimes yank it a little too far right, but today this looks pretty good.
Yep. Not a ton of height, so that's going to be quite a bit left in terms of distance for McBeth's approach. And that green really gets smaller and smaller as you get closer to the green or closer to the pin.
And Kevin giving this the full on.
Oh, that's
really
huge.
far. Yeah.
Big shot there for Kevin. That's kind of a statement after, you see that birdie there between the last two bogeys, but that's kind of just a stock birdie. So really the last 3 holes, I'm sure he feels like he's gone bogey.
And this one stays in bounds, it looks like, but he's going to have this little branch kind of in his way, which will make it an awkward little standstill.
Yep.
Which means he's going to be forced to just kind of lay this one up. I was in that same spot.
It shouldn't be too much difficulty for Eagle to get up and down for the par.
Paul going to give this one the full send here.
Turn it.
Doesn't turn it. Needs to get down.
Super safe.
Yeah, that is safe. That will be a makeable putt.
That's what makes that shot into this green so difficult is you're running uphill, so it's really tough to get the height. And once you get the height, it's a different swing, and it tends to pull you right.
Not only is it uphill run up, but the slope gradually goes up the whole way. And so you can laser it all you want and get the right distance read. It's still going to be a 1 or 2 degree incline all the way to that pin. So you have 375 playing closer to 450.
Yeah, all of 450. It plays far. Kevin's on the flat, so it makes this shot way easier. And this looks great.
Really nice to keep that drifted out to the left to avoid the early out of bounds right, just creeping up inside the circle.
And I feel like that's the play is get aggressive off the tee, make sure you turn it a little too much if anything, and it gets you to that flat, and you're able to get a nice flat run up. And if you have a weapon like that sidearm, which he does, it makes that so much easier, which is surprising because I feel like both McBeth and Eagle both have that weapon.
McBeth from 75 feet, and he makes it count. And right after he says you can't miss it, not today. Look at the will.
This is just on a rope.
And he knows it. He was ready to run it in.
With the fist pump. That makes Kevin's putt feel like about a 42-footer.
Yeah, I mean, he's brought that lead down to 3 shots. And if Kevin doesn't make that challenging putt, and if he's just inside the circle, can't jump putt, that puts Kevin in that awkward edge of circle range. Calvin coming up. Little low there. But match play on. All the pressure now on Kevin.
It's a big moment. Heart.
And high heart too, which is just even more confident. That putt, like you said, that's a statement putt.
Absolutely.
That man is not scared of anything. Wow.
With a little burst of energy, Kevin runs to the next tee.
I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Wow. That was really impressive. That says a lot about where Kevin's head is at heading into hole 9.
And where Paul's head is.
Sure. I mean,
well.
That's you're looking at 2 guys that are clearly in that mode right there where they know this is a battle. And obviously Eagle's not out of it either. It's going to be a very exciting final 10 holes. It's going to start with this one of the scariest holes on the course. That wind is just always coming off the lake, and it's turning drives over out of bounds so often. Gonna want to go with a reliably overstable driver and push it right side and have it drift left at the end.
This needs to flatten out a little bit more. Well, not really, because this guy is making some nice putts.
He's going to be challenged again, though. He's going to be closer to 70 than 60.
I like Kevin throwing mid-range here. I think that's his best, most controlled shot. I really do, is that nice mid-range straight to putter straight shot. So,
Well,
uh-oh.
going with the X1. I think it's the next one. No, it's not the next one.
That's a
I thought it
fairway.
had that 2014 stamp. I think that's one of my old F5s, actually.
This needs help.
I don't know. This thing's got a little bit of late stability, Paul.
No help needed. Circle.
Yeah. Using all the right side.
Wow, what a shot. He's walking away like, I think I got away with a little something there.
Says so much about his control to be able to trust a less than overstable. Oh, look at that skip. And Calvin getting a little bit of roll back into the bulk of the fairway. A long putt for birdie from out there. But to trust an F5 as opposed to a more stable distance driver or a fairway driver with that left to right headwind going down the hill, you have to be so smooth. Any sort of imperfections with a throw, and that disc is down the hill out of bounds.
Oh, yeah. And honestly, I'm not, this is just going to get a nice little curl off of there. Might be in bounds.
Oh, my
Yeah,
goodness.
that was a perfect shank job by Eagle McMahon. No chance of staying out of bounds.
Okay. Wouldn't ever throw a forehand on this one, and that's saying something. But I don't. Wow. Okay. Sorry. I'm back to the action now, Paul. I'm just trying to figure out that play.
What I was saying is I'm not so sure that, well, I'm actually definitely, almost a nice little pop there from Calvin. I definitely don't think Kevin was aiming to absolutely park this hole. I think might have got away from him a little bit.
Okay.
Oh,
Why
I
is it
thought he
floating
made it
this
from
time?
here.
No wind.
Hours later.
This one should have dropped way faster.
Get in there.
Using all of the
Get
left
in
side of the
there.
basket.
That's a nice catch. That's a nice get there from Kevin, and he needed it. That
Yeah.
puts him right back in sole control of this tournament.
And I don't think the rock should be in Paul's way, but if that had rolled any closer to the rock, this would be a very awkward 28-foot putt.
Yeah. He
Just
just barely gets past the Indiana Jones rock boulder.
just shows no fear at those putts. I feel like my knees are going to burst apart one day from my knees wobbling at that distance. As we take a look at the leaderboard, James Conrad making a move up the leaderboard. Now he is tied with Eagle McMahon, but obviously Kevin Jones in control right now with that 5-shot advantage, only losing 1 shot to Paul McBeth. The front 9, Kevin Jones match play. He's definitely winning this one if he can continue to throw solid shots in the back 9. We're past the scariest holes in the course. It's going to take something miraculous for anyone to make a move here at the 2020 Green Mountain Championships. Got anything, Paul?
Yeah. I say go to JomezPro.com. Get these nice swirly Z Tour Series nukes that they just dropped a whole new restock for you guys, and we'll catch you on the back 9.
JomezPro.com/Discraft if you really want to be specific.
Thank you.
We'll see you on the back 9, guys.